What is it to be a youth activist? Ever since I moved to Florida when I was 8, I've been involved with social justice through my Unitarian Universalist fellowship. And most of the credit should go to my mom. I've learned most of my things that I use in social justice from her. I've sorted ballots, counted votes, left those nagging messages and calls on your phone that you get that remind you to go to that event that you forgot to write down in your calendar. And I once counted tracking tickets that we collected at the door to see how many people attended an event in a local driver's ed classroom of a high school. I've learned the tricks of the trade from the social justice programs that my Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, my mother, and I've been involved with. The only exception being social media. It still eludes me. I remember the first time I advocated for climate change, right down to the fleeting thoughts of the ground swallowing me whole, similar to what I'm feeling right now. My palms were sweating. I was hoping that the clock would tick slower so I wouldn't have to stand up, even though I knew I would eventually. I can vaguely remember tapping the melody of a Katy Perry song because I was trying to get all of the fleeting thoughts out of my mind. And the whole time I stood up, I thought I was speaking Chinese. To be quite honest, if you told me I was going to be speaking willingly, I'd probably be very mortified right now. Since then, I've gotten considerably better at public speaking and been to enough events advocating for social justice issues that they're now second nature. I could explain to you the slap pull in my sleep. I've since become involved with advocating for my local adaptation plan in Florida, which is the Regional Climate Action Plan, and presented the slap pull enough times that I can't count them anymore. Though the service hours are probably documented somewhere, I don't know exactly where. I've also joined the iMatter Youth Council, and this coming year we'll be filing a petition on behalf of a small group of youth that the atmospheres of public trust. To be honest, when I speak with people, they are amazed at what I've accomplished in so few years. It's been 2 years since I've gotten involved with climate change and public policy advocacy, and whatever you would want to call it. But really, it's I who is amazed that I've gotten so far in so little time and gotten to know such great public figures. The climate change activism that I have been involved with is mostly local, within Florida and within certain counties, but just has recently turned national when I joined the iMatter Youth Council. But first, I'm going to start with the first climate change project that I worked on. Well, my mom, my fellowship, and I created it, and it was created with collaboration with the youth at my church. And we made the SLAP poll, or the Sea Level Awareness Poll. To be more exact, we made 4. Now, the SLAP poll is a 4-sided vinyl pole that is shaped like this. Now, there are 2 sides opposite from each other that have, that represent years 2050 and 2100. They have icons of hospitals, regular buildings, things that you need, schools, banks, and all of the tax money that will be used locally. And it shows what monetary damage and what will be lost from sea level rise, which is the first impending threat from climate change to Florida. There's a 3rd side which tells the story of global warming in icons, of perspective of a person and sea level. And for those of you who have seen the iMatter icon, it's a person punching their fist in the air. That's what represents the sea level rise. And it's actually this that led me to the iMatter Youth Council. And the 4th side is links of where the poll has been featured and where I've presented it. Now, it doesn't take a genius to know that I spent a lot of time presenting it. But just imagine, all of them are generally stickers, and I haven't looked at a sticker the right way in years. But we have had some very quality bonding time, the slap pole and I. My mother and I resemble somewhat of a clown car, taking the 6-foot-long pole with waves on the top out of our car, which looks 5 feet long. And if we ever really get the sudden urge to join the circus, we have the clown car act down pat. What many people don't know is that the slap pole is what linked me to all of my other chapters of advocacy in my life. I got involved with the Regional Climate Action Plan, which is my local adaptation plan, and we're trying to get it ratified in one of our counties. It's all ratified in the other counties, but constant support helps. It outlines the current issues and future issues that will arise in Florida, sea level rise and what will be affected from such things. And it sums up how to adapt to these issues and affect our footprint. In short, it involves maintaining natural shorelines, conserving a reasonable energy consumption, preserving and adapting infrastructure, and most importantly, reducing carbon emissions. Though this plan is already late to preserve water supply in select counties, it may very well preserve Florida's water supply, which will be compromised by the time I'm 45, which is in 30 years. That's the estimated projections, and most likely will be true, if not more expedited. After I got involved with this plan, I joined the iMatter Youth Council and have in turn begun a new chapter in my life. I have for a few months now been involved with the iMatter Youth Council, and in turn I will be involved with public trust lawsuits. Now, I'm the main plaintiff in a petition to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, wow, that's a mouthful, for a rule to regulate carbon emissions in Florida on behalf of the children in Florida. Now, the reason why these are all known as lawsuits is because, well, let's be honest, most petitions are denied. But if this petition is denied, and if we also get collaboration, whatever happens, if we go to court, I will most likely testify like the rest of the children who are filing this petition with me. This court case is a transition in my life and will most likely determine where I go in my life. And I would love to see what social justice projects I get involved after with it. That's in this upcoming school year. So many people ask me what it means to be a youth activist. Now, it may mean sacrificing a few weekends, studying a little harder between classes because I have to go present that PowerPoint or go to that climate summit. But it means that I'm reliant for one more year on my supportive parents helping me lug whatever new innovative tool I have for presenting what's happening. But I sit in the same seats as you do and look up to the same leaders who've done amazing things. Yes, there are a few moments when I feel like my accomplishments pale in comparison, but at the end of the day, there's also the moment where you know you're not alone. Sometimes I feel like I pale in comparison to all of you, people who are doing amazing things as well. But hasn't everyone felt that way at some point? I haven't forgotten the butterflies in my stomach the first day I spoke about the slap hole, or the lack of nervousness when I stood up to present again and again and again. Believe me, I presented it a lot of times. I'm a youth activist because the date I was born says that I'm 15. But I'm here because I've asked myself a question that all of you have at some point. If not me, then who else? So why are you an activist? And if not, then why not? Thank you.